It's the Health in the Real World podcast. It's time to start the show with Chris Janke as your host. Here to give you everything that you need when it comes to fitness strategies. We keep it simple and easy. It's your roadmap to get healthy. You don't need equipment and you don't need a gym. Just the right strategies to get you fit and trim.
Dr. Solomon, how are you today?
I'm wonderful. How are you doing, Chris?
I'm doing great. Thank you so
Thanks
much
for
for
having me on.
You're welcome. Absolutely. Happy that you're here. And Dr. Solomon, give us a brief background about who you are, your story, and then we're going to talk all things nose and sinus related and sinus health.
That sounds great. Hey, let me start with call me Dr. Hana. And the reason it's Hana was when my mother named me that. But I don't know if you've ever heard of coincidences, but I recently learned what Hana means in Japanese. Want to take a guess?
I'm going to guess.
It means nose.
Nose. I was going to say health, but nose is even more specific. That's pretty
Isn't that
amazing.
amazing?
Your mom knew. Or
Yes.
something guided her, something told her. Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah. What was the question? I'm so sorry.
That's okay. We're casual around here. Just a brief background as far as how you got into the position that you're in now and what you do specifically to help people.
Thank you. So again, my name is Dr. Hana Solomon. I'm a pediatrician. And about 30 years ago, I completed my pediatric residency. And before that, you could say I was a hippie. I lived on a spiritual commune. And so I was a natural kind of person. I was making fried tofu back then before the world knew about tofu and soy milk.
Nice.
I started med school as an older student. I was 30 and I had two little kids. And during my medical school experience, I met two mentors of mine that touched my heart in a way that nobody else during my training did. They were very holistic. They believed in treating the whole person, and that whole person was really part of a whole family. And one of the mentors, Dr. David Parsons, was a pediatric ears, nose, and throat surgeon. And he said to me, Hana, if I could get everyone to just wash their nose, I would never have to do surgery again. Let me fast forward 10 years later when he was giving one of his last grand rounds before retirement. He reported that he had done almost no surgeries in the past 10 years, except for the rare cancer or resistant something in an immunocompromised person, which was really good news. In those 10 years, I began practicing pediatrics, and I had two rules. Don't ask a 2-year-old patient to do something I can't do. And I'm going to treat all my patients like I would want others to treat my own children. To me, that means I want the practitioner to hear where I'm coming from and what I value and what's important to me and my family. The practitioner would share what they know, and then together we figure out what's best of how to move forward. So I started teaching nose washing very early in my clinical life. Of course, almost every one of my colleagues thought I was crazy. But I knew in my heart it made sense. Let me give you an example, Chris. If you fall and get a muddy cut on your knee, wouldn't it make sense to wash it first? And if you eat real foods, I'm not talking about foods that have 37 ingredients and you can't even enunciate the ingredients. If it's real foods, that wound is going to heal if you wash it. Now let's take the nose. The nose filters 10,000 liters of air every 24 hours. We make a pint to a quart of mucus a day in our sinuses and our nose. And mucus is actually a good thing. The problem comes in when we lived in a polluted world, or we are allergic, perhaps like you are, um, or we're exposed to a virus or a bacteria, or we're exposed to fires or VOG or any irritant. All of that gets filtered in your nose. Doesn't it make sense? I believe it makes sense. Studies have proven it makes sense. Washing your personal filter removes 80% of the allergens, scientifically proven. Thins the thick, sticky mucus, improves the filtering by 17%. Each one of these things I'm listing is supported by independent studies. Augments healing of bloody tissues, shrinks swollen membranes. And the last thing, it creates an environment that is uninhabitable for viruses and bacteria. Why don't we do it?
I don't know, but it's perfect timing for where we are now, right? During COVID, and everyone's washing their hands every other minute. And nobody's talking about the nose. Nobody's talking about the filter, as you say, right? If you're breathing properly through the nose, you have all those little hairs, you have all those little canals back there that serve a purpose. But like you said, you have that thick mucus that's created, and it's a good thing, but you need to discharge that, right?
And the mucus is not naturally created thick. It is thickened by antihistamines when people use for allergies,
Mm-hmm.
some other medications. If you're older, if you're dehydrated, I believe that's it. But so there, and if you're ill, it'll get thicker.
Yep.
So our goal, I think it is my goal to have folks just keep it clean, and then it's working. It's not rocket science. It's like brushing your teeth.
Yep. It really does seem like that. Can you show the little
Yes, the
little
bottle,
squirter?
the
Yeah.
NasoPure bottle. It comes in 2 sizes. I originally made this, it's a 4-ounce size, and I made it for children because it's a 2-year-old's hand size.
Perfect.
But I have found that this is actually my favorite for daily use. Then I have an 8-ounce bottle, which is really much more effective for someone who really wants that Bernoulli's principle, really wants to get that sinus thickness and the drainage coming out, where the smaller bottle is wonderful for, let's clean it up, but you're not treating a big mess.
Well, it looks like, I'm looking on Amazon, and it looks like it's very reasonably priced anyway, with or without a code. It's $12.49 for a, how big is that? It's a pack of
It's
one.
an 8-ounce and 20 salt packets.
Uh-huh. Perfect. So now when the salt packets run out, is this something, I mean, can I just grab some sea salt and put it in, or is this a special combination?
So you asked me about the salt. So, and I'd love, Chris, to share my book with you, and you can share it with your readers. I have a whole chapter on salt.
Oh, great.
So, but I'll give you the quick summary. You could wash your nose with anything.
Mm-hmm.
You could use a turkey baster, and you could use any kind of sea salt or whatever.
Right.
I have spent my life finding the most effective and least expensive way to keep your nose clean.
Yes.
And with all the studies I have looked at over my years of experience, I use a salt mix that has been used in the operating room for about 4 decades, maybe more. It's the recipe that Dr. David Parsons gave me. It's the recipe that most studies have used, and I feel like it's the best. It's not patentable, Chris, because it's been in use for so long. It has sodium chloride, which is a little bit like sea salt, but sea salt is a large granule, and it has lots of minerals and other elements in it.
Right.
Sodium chloride, I apologize for this. Sodium chloride, ours is a very high quality sodium chloride, only the purest.
Yeah.
Plus, a third of this mix is a buffering sodium bicarbonate.
Okay.
It's a 2-to-1 mix.
Got it.
Most competitors are much less buffering. Mine is 33% buffering. Most of the others are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7% buffering.
Okay.
Buffering so Chris, our bodies are 0.9%. If we use 1 packet in an 8-ounce bottle, that makes isotonic. It's as salty as the body.
Perfect.
I recommend first-time users always make an isotonic mix, and everything I say is in the instructions. If you make an isotonic mix, 1 packet, warm water, put it up to your nose, you're looking straight ahead at the mirror. You make a complete seal with the tip of the bottle and the nostril. I'm not going to do that right now. Make sure you're aligned. You're going to go toward the nape of your neck and not toward your eye. And then you take your breath and hold it. And as you're holding your breath, you squeeze the bottle and the junk comes out. You repeat on the other side, and then you snort out of both nostrils without blocking one when you're blowing. It is not sexy, but it feels good. Once you get the system down,
Yes.
all those positive effects of nose washing that I listed for you involved a saltier version, a more concentrated version, hypertonic. So that would be 1 packet in just 4 ounces.
Got it. Okay.
And that's how you remove 80% of the allergens, shrink the swollen membranes, et cetera.
Very cool. Well, I love this, the practicality of this. And like you said, it's just like brushing your teeth. That's the reason why I called this Health in the Real World, is that this is just something you can do. Very easy to do. And like I said, it's $12.49 on Amazon. This is just a no-brainer. So everybody watching this, go check out. Again, it's called Nasopure, Nasopure, from Dr. Hana. And I want to thank you so much for coming on. Any last words you want to leave us with? Anything you want to say?
3 things.
Yeah.
1, being a entrepreneur, for whoever's going to listen to this, I think it's important to show that I just want to brag about the fact that this bottle was manufactured in Kansas City. The mold for it was made in Kansas City, and I'm very proud of it. Our kits are assembled by adults with disabilities, and they have been since they left my basement. And I think entrepreneurs and consumers should consider that when they support companies. I just wanted to show the book that I'm going to email you that you can share with anybody. And then the last thing I wanted to mention, Chris, if it's okay, if folks don't want to go to Amazon and they want to go to nasopure.com, if it is more expensive on nasopure.com, because we won't go in there, but if they write a note on the order that they listen to your show, I will send them an additional free kit.
Oh, that's very nice. And then that book, so I'm going to have an electronic copy of that book. So what I'll do is I'll put the link to that book in the show notes down below for anybody who wants to get that book.
Great. And then maybe we can highlight what chapter the children's chapter is, because there are age-specific instructions on how do you teach a 2-year-old versus how do you teach a 9-year-old. They're different animals.
Perfect. That's perfect. I have a 2-year-old and a 9-year-old. I don't know how you knew that, but well done.
Mothers always know.
Well, great. Dr. Hana Solomon, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate you coming out and teaching us about how to keep our noses clean. Again, especially in this time where, we have this big pandemic going on, and
a lot of dirt.
There's a lot of things we can do to stay healthy other than just wearing masks. So I appreciate this information.
Eating real food.
Eating real food, getting enough sleep, drinking enough water.
That's right.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Great stuff. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thanks for listening to the Health in the Real World show. Make sure to like and subscribe and comment down below. Visit mycorebalance.com to learn more.